Hi, welcome to the channel. It's time for another quarterly reflection. Every quarter of the year, every 3 months, I like to record a video that gathers what I've been working on, articulates what I've been thinking, and organizes everything to be nice and tidy so that when I'm going back and looking at this channel, I can have these little snapshots every 3 months. It gives me an opportunity to update on some of the behind the scenes and to put everything together in a nice way. I'm going to start with a quick review of what happened this quarter. Then I'm going to talk about the ideas that I'm thinking about, providing a bit of a window inside my musical thinking at the moment. And then I want to wrap up, like always, with a little look forward to what's coming down the line. For starters, though, I just want to note that this has been a really busy quarter, both on the channel and outside of the channel. It just feels like there's been a lot going on. But for the channel itself, that's been really exciting. The biggest thing that happened this quarter for me was an album release. I released my album Emerging Artist, which was a collection of tracks with both the no input mixing board as well as a few other electronic instruments that I've been working with. And I feel like I'm really starting to find a set of ideas and approaches to music making with this focus of sound as painting. It was really nice to put that together and articulate that with the album release. There was a lot of gathering, architecting, and polishing sound for that that was happening, mostly in the background, and then it blooms forth into an album. It emerges. Some other highlights from the quarter. I had the Mavis Reflections series where I revisited my first synthesizer and talked a bit about fiction, abstract sound, noise making, and an intuitive approach to music making. Altogether, just a lot of nice reflections on synthesis, things that, in working it out through that series, I think I'm going to keep thinking about for a while. This quarter also brought back the return of some modular content to the channel after taking a bit of a break from that for the past quarter. I've been focusing on this small Benjolin focused system, and I really like that case. I feel like it has just the right amount of utilities and flexible patching opportunities. The Benjolin itself is already a full-fledged little instrument, and with the addition of the Rampage and some mixing routing utilities around that, it's just been a really flexible case, and I'm really enjoying that as a way to touch back into synthesis here on the channel. And then there have also just been a scattering of other fun, more informational videos that I've been messing around with here on the channel. A few book recommendations most recently, and then also a video on phase-locked loops that I'm really proud of. I feel like it clicked for me. I finally get phase-locked loops now, understanding what a phase comparator is, and I'm really happy that I got to make that video. And that's what I've been working on and creating for the past quarter. I also want to put a window into what I've been thinking about. And for the first part of the quarter, as I was moving up to the album release, all I was thinking about was album release. I was in a music making and a sort of a finishing mode, even more than a music making mode. There's that, all the mixing and decision making that comes with the construction of these things up to the end point. But once that finished at the end of September, I feel like I've spent the last month in just a real post-album freedom space. I've been on a big research binge, thinking a lot about early electronic music, Stockhausen, Elsa Marie Pade, also really getting into the work of Ligeti. I read his biography recently, Music of the Imagination by Richard Steinitz. Ligeti's work is really fascinating to me because it intersects with the early electronic tape music stuff, Stockhausen, that I'm really interested in. But then it also contains all of this very static, textural, non-electronic work that I really connect with in this idea of experiencing sound as a painting. And so Ligeti's work has been something that I've really just been soaking up in the past month. I've also been reading and listening to a lot of Ben Johnston's string quartets, another composer and artist whose work I just find really beautiful. All of this is to say, I'm in sponge mode right now. It's a lot of absorbing and gathering, and I don't really know where it's leading at the moment, but that's a really nice feeling after doing the very focused work on an album for a bit. I'm not entirely done with the album and its ideas, of course. I think that it's going to continue to live in the back of my mind for a while, both in the aspect of extending the ideas of the album into new work, but also I've been thinking about ways of visualizing the album, having some sort of visual representation of the sonic material that is on Emerging Artist. And I've been playing with these spectrograms here. I feel like I've found the right settings and values to get something that feels legible to me, but also is extremely beautiful. I think I want to edit some of these together and put them up as a print in my office. I think that would be a nice way to commemorate the album. And speaking of my office, this post-album time has also been really nice as a cleaning time, as a cleanup, getting everything put away and organized, selling some instruments and equipment that I'm no longer using, updating all of the software that I had held off on updating until the album was complete. I don't know, I'm just really enjoying that tidying process that comes post-album as well. And so the end of the quarter coming into the end of the year has largely been a tidying and gathering sort of mode for me. And that's really nice. I've been really enjoying that. I think that I'm going to try and take it a little easy between now and the beginning of the year, because I'm really looking forward to Jamuary to continue the sort of fresh start, new things that are coming up. But that's getting into what's next. Looking forward, the big thing on my plate for the channel right now is a set of explanations on the no input mixing board and pedals. I've been systematically working through some of the effects that I have with delay, reverb. I want to look at some distortion stuff with a different pedal as well coming up here. And I've been taking notes on my process as I slowly work through this. The end goal is to articulate some thoughts on how I approach the no input mixing board with integrating pedals and how I see some of the different ways that pedals can be used. I feel like I'm finding things that I want to say as I really dive into this. I appreciate the suggestions to go down this route of exploration that I received. As I'm wrapping up the pedal stuff, I also see myself splitting time with more modular explorations. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want that to look like, how I want to be performing with my modular system, because I love modular synthesis. I love the techniques and patching and sound design, all of the little corners of strange alien sound that are accessible. But I think I need to get out of a technical mindset and into an expressive mindset with the modular system. And this is one of my goals for 2025, looking into the new year. And I think Jamuary will be part of the grounds for that exploration. Last Jamuary was all about the mixing board. And across that process, I feel like I really kickstarted my work with this thing in a good way. And so I think that I want to use Jamuary 2025 to really work through and iron out some questions of performance and expressivity with the modular system largely, but also with the mixing board, because I do see this as still being essential to the tools for my voice. For the mixing board in particular, I'm really interested in moving towards a coherent, longer script of a live set. Something that's always sort of important to me is the idea of what kind of sound and music making can I do without any preparation. If someone was to say, make music, make some sound for us, how would that manifest for me based on the practice and the technique that I've built? As I complete the sort of technical explorations with pedals and things with the mixing board, my next focus is really going to be how I perform this thing and how I make sound both upon request and just upon inspiration to express myself with it as an instrument. And I think that's pretty much it. Through the end of the year, it's going to be pedals, mixing board, some modular stuff, and not working too hard until January comes around. And then it's going to be a big month of lots of music making. And then in February, it'll be time for another one of these quarterly reflections. If you're following along, listening to all of this, thank you. I really appreciate it. It's nice to have people listening. It's nice to have people that I'm engaging with on these topics. And I just want to say that I really appreciate the interactions that happen out of that. As always, I like to close these quarterly reflections with a few selections of some of my favorite moments in sound making and music making from the quarter. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some highlights.